congressman who could not be more supportive of our community, Jerry Nadler and Congressman Anthony Weiner.
Thank you very much. We are not in Washington this week. We're here this week because Congress is in recess because of the 4th of July, Independence Day. Independence Day started because we adopted a document in this country that said all men are created equal. That they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. The history of this country can be largely read as the history of giving meaning to that phrase and expanding what it means when it says all men are created equal. In 1776, it certainly didn't mean women. It certainly didn't mean black men or women. It certainly didn't mean Native Americans. Well, now, at least legally, it means black men and women. At least legally, it means generally women. At least legally, it means Native Americans. The one group it still doesn't, at least legally, include is the GLBT community. The one group that the courts and the legislatures are still saying, well, maybe. But the direction is clear. It's not inevitable, but it's clear. I stood here a few years ago, probably with many of the same people in this crowd, and we were very upset at the Bowers versus Hardwick decision upholding the sodomy laws. A few years later, the Supreme Court said, no, we were wrong, and changed that. This too will change. This too will change. And you know how inevitable it is. You know how inevitable the progress is, the change is coming. When you take a look at the polls, and you see that when you look by age group, the older people are opposed to gay marriage. The younger people don't understand what's the question. Anybody under 35, what's the question? That makes it inevitable. Our job is to make it as rapid as inevitable possible. It will come. The full meaning of equality. The full meaning of equality, marriage for gay and lesbian people will come. The demographics, if nothing else, tells you that. The polling data tells you that. But it is not comforting to say, it does not comfort you to say, don't worry, in 30 years you'll be able to get married. No! If you're 2 years old, maybe that's okay. But we all live now. We have to make what is inevitable happen now. Quickly. That's our job. Now! I am the ranking Democrat. I am the ranking Democrat on the subcommittee on the Constitution in the House of Representatives. Before the Republicans took over, the name of that subcommittee was the Subcommittee on Constitutional Rights and Civil Liberties. When they took it over, they got rid of the reference to rights and civil liberties. We can understand why. As ranking Democrat on that subcommittee, it's my job to be the front person in fighting all the crap that they throw at us every day and every week. The anti-marriage amendment, the anti-choice stuff, all the stuff, we get it first, and we lose the votes. But we delay it, we stop it, and we will wait till November, and then we'll triumph. And we will turn things around. And your job, all of our jobs, is to pressure Congress, to pressure the legislature, to pressure the governor, to pressure the people who would be governor. How dare, when I was in the state legislature years ago, we had a big controversy, merit selection of judges. Well, we have merit selection of the Court of Appeals. The governor appoints the court, the judges, from a panel. Some merit. Some merit. I suspect that if we had elected judges, we wouldn't have gotten that decision. We have to make sure We have an election coming up. We have to make sure that we get commitments from anybody who wants to be any elected official. You will not appoint, you will not vote to confirm any judge who does not talk of this decision with disgust. You will not appoint, you will not vote to confirm any judge who will not say that this decision will go down in history with Plessy versus Ferguson, and we must reverse it as fast as possible. We will not vote. None of us will vote for any candidate for Congress or for any candidate for the legislature who will not vow to support. This decision, as bad as it was, didn't say that you couldn't have marriage in New York. It said it's up to the legislature. Well, we will not vote for any candidate who will not pledge to support a pro-establishment of marriage bill in the legislature immediately. The victory in this fight is inevitable. The speed of that victory, whether millions of people have to live without that victory for a decade more, that is the question before us. That's what we have to steel ourselves to combat. That's the fight we will win. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to stand on stage with Jerry Nadler, because frankly, frequently we're confused for one another. I mean, all standing up here, we're kind of like a nebbishy Jewish version of the Indigo Girls or something. I just want to say this, I come from a fairly conservative district in Brooklyn and Queens. Orthodox Jewish families, conservative Catholic families. When I first ran for Congress, I ran on a platform of supporting gay marriage. And I don't want to speak to the people who are in this crowd right now, because frankly, now our job is to go out around this state and convince legislators and our neighbors from all around the state why they should support gay marriage. So let me say what I say to them. First, I try to clear up some misunderstanding. No one in this crowd is forcing anyone to be either gay or get married. Right. No one is trying to impose their life on anyone else. Which leads us to the second point, that it's vital that we explain to all of our neighbors. In no way will anyone else's rights be diminished by the people in this crowd and around this state getting more rights. No sky is going to fall. We are not going to see the underpinning of communities around this country crumbled like sand on the beach because of this fight. What our message has to be is what we're asking for is what everyone else takes for granted. What many people are surprised to learn is not guaranteed by the Constitution of the state of New York. More people are going to read the news reports about this story, about this case tomorrow, close the newspaper scratching their heads, saying it just doesn't seem right. This must be the way they felt when the Dred Scott decision was handed down. It just doesn't feel right. As Americans, it doesn't feel right. As New Yorkers, it doesn't feel right. As human beings, it doesn't feel right. And the reason is because it's wrong. It is wrong.